Okay, guys, I'm going to make two videos going over the stuff that we missed from class. All right, so we started with the weaknesses of long-term weaknesses of liberal Italy. Liberal Italy referring to sort of the 40-year period after the unification in 1870 up until 1920, so 50 years. All right, first was the regionalism. So the different people of Italy um, felt more connection to their local region, and thus their political parties reflected that. A split between the Catholic Church and the government. The Catholic Church had historically had a lot of power over Italy, and it had been taken away by the liberal government. So now they were protesting and saying, like, don't even vote in these elections, they're not valid. And then there's the big class divisions between the workers and the owners. How these help rise of Mussolini, the regionalism says that basically the government's not unified, not working together, but Mussolini presents a non-regional idea that all of the Italians could get behind, or people of different areas. Mussolini is able to get support from the Catholic Church, so a group that's actively against the current government. And then he also presents ideas that can unite both the wealthy and the poorer members of the society, mostly through blaming foreigners and then saying how when they take over other areas, it'll provide jobs for workers and business opportunities for the wealthy. All right, how did joining World War II impact Italy? They switched from an alliance with Germany because they were promised territorial gains. However, during the war, they were quite poor at fighting, and this led to many people getting killed. So this generally leads to a distrust of the government to be able to effectively do its job and protect the country. After World War One, there's a growth in support for fascism for several reasons. First, more people are given voting rights, and what this does, partly it weakens the existing government because many of the people support other parties for the regional parties, and some of them support the fascist party. There's very small territorial gains, so they were promised gains, and that's why they joined the Entente. But because of the poor fighting, they're only given some of those territories, and this causes upset. And then we see in 1919 the Fiume affair, which is where some Italian fascists they're supposed to give up this port city, Fiume, to Yugoslavia, and they take over the city and refuse to give it up. And the government is too weak to remove them, demonstrating that the government can't effectively govern the area. So, how do these help Mussolini? Each one weakens the government, and it also, because the fascists are a party that it's kind of vague in the sort of things that they advocate for, they're able to appeal across many different groups and interests. All right, economic factors. We see after World War One, there's a lot of poor economy, high unemployment. The U.S. starts massive restrictions on immigration, which had historically been a way for Southern Italians to escape poverty. And there's a rise in support in communism, which brings about a lot of fear from the business groups. So how did these help Mussolini? They basically make the country realize that the existing government is ineffective to solve the problems that they have. And then the last thing was the March on Rome. This is the event where Mussolini and the fascists take power. It comes after a general strike led by the communist and socialist parties. And socialists. The chaos presented an opportunity for them to take power. So they, around the country, they start taking over government buildings, and then they plan a big march on Rome. The king initially says, let's crack down on these guys, arrest all of them, do martial law. But then he has a change of heart, and he telegrams to Mussolini to say, come to Rome, and I will put you in charge of the government. So this is the major event that sparks Mussolini's rise to power. So some similarities and differences between the circumstances and actions Hitler and Mussolini in this immediate post-World War One time period. Both of them have the circumstance of a great economic crisis. We see unemployment in Italy and hyperinflation in Germany. Both of them, we see that the government is not trusted, largely because of the post-World War One treaties. Germans generally hate everything about the Treaty of Versailles, and Italy are really upset about the territorial gains or lack thereof. Both of the leaders are strong orators and criticize the government, so that's action. Both of them promote a general vague return to greatness, and then both of them use violence in their party members. Germany, we see the SA. Italy, they have the black shirts. They're both a similar idea. Some major differences, though. The March of Rome is successful, whereas the Munich push fails because the Nazis are a hyper-regionalized party at that time. So Italy has more regional conflict, though, over its politicians, even though the Nazis were a Bavaria-based group. And then in Italy, the Catholic Church, particularly its aggressive anti-government position, means that there's a greater opportunity for the fascists to take over. Thank you.